Hi, everyone. My name is Candace Avalos. I am a Portland State educator currently. So I have been an educator for 10 years. And preparing for this forum, I really dived back into my personal history to see where music has played a role in my life. So if you want to go way, way back to fifth grade, where I was getting ready for middle school and being told to, pick an instrument to play, and I wanted to play the drums. But, in Northern Virginia, they were like, girls don't play drums, so you play the flute. So I was like, really? So I did grow up playing the flute in middle school. I did marching band in ninth grade. But then I found a way around not being able to play musical drums, and I played something that I like to call body drums, which is I was a step team dancer. So I did that all through high school, and that was kind of my way to get my drum fix that I was looking for. You make, for people that are not familiar, you make different sounds with your body and how you hit your hands, hit your legs. So that was a big part of my life growing up and how music influenced me. And then, so don't laugh, my first concert ever was Fall Out Boy back in the summer of 2006. I was working at a movie theater at the time, and I had some friends that liked to go to concerts, and they brought me in and got to see All American Rejects and October Falls, and this was like summer of '06. But then I really got into the music scene, and again, I grew up in Northern Virginia, so right outside of Washington, D.C. So I went to a lot of shows at the 930 Club, for those that are familiar, also the Black Cat, two really big spots in D.C. I remember waiting all day, 12 hours, so I could see Silverchair in the very front row. And my favorite concert I went to at the 930 Club was Bogo Bordello, because it's way fun and you just get to dance around. And then also, when I came out to Portland, the very first concert I went to was at the Doug Fir, and I got to see Lake Street Dive. So I didn't realize, living in Virginia, I was actually looking at Lake Street Dive videos from Pickathon, and I didn't make the connection until I got here that was where, that culture of music really thrived here in Portland. And so I've been blessed to be able to see lots of local artists actually working at PSU. Our students, they do a really great live at lunch every Tuesday, Thursday, and bring in local artists to perform. And then also, I've got lots of friends that are in the music business here in Portland. I've got some CrossFit friends that one is the lead singer of the Suicide Notes. My friend Jesse, another friend is the drummer for the Hair Puller. And then actually my boyfriend, Eric Riggline, he has been a musician and drummer in Portland for 25 years. So he was a drummer in the band In Hope of Solace, if anyone knows, wants a throwback and remembers In Hope of Solace. So of course, having him in my home, I was like, I need to know what this looks like. What does the music scene need from Portland City Council? So some of the things that he shared with me that I thought was good perspective. He talked about noise complaints. He said that it's really unfair that many people are okay with noise, and then there's just that one neighbor that can shut down a whole operation. So he talked about how there really needs to be better regulations on noise complaints to ensure that people can play their music. He also talked about there's too much money being subsidized for things like the opera and the symphony, and not enough for our local music ecology, which is exactly what this forum is about, to talk about how it's a huge part of Portland's culture and it's really important to our community. So, and then I said, well, what is it that you need from City Hall? And he said, money. And I was like, okay, be more specific. So he told me that money in the way of not only that subsidizing, but also investment in local music venues. Also having more rental spaces available in Portland. I know he was in this one band, but he was going all the way to Beaverton. That was around when I first met him, and because there was not a lot of space in Portland, so there needs to be more rehearsal spaces here. And also that local businesses are fair in their pay of musicians when they're doing gigs in their spaces. So I'd really like to see the musician union, Local 99, have more of a space at the table as well. We often talk about unions, and they're a big part of Portland culture, but I don't see that union given a priority or a space to speak in Portland City Hall about how that affects our culture and our community. So overall, I think that, like has been said, and I really appreciate Mira's introduction to give some good context of what this means and why people are logging in and tuning in today to hear about how Portland City Councils are going to make space for music in the future, especially in the post-COVID-19 recovery. I think that it's going to play a huge role in our, we're kind of going through this collective trauma, honestly, and it's emotional. And music is the way that we talk about our emotions, and it's the way that we come together as people. And so I think that I'd really like to see that community being prioritized more in the post-COVID-19 recovery. And I strongly support expanding the Portland Film Office into an Office of Film and Music. That I saw that in the backgrounder, and I'm actually surprised to hear that there isn't dedicated staff for music, especially since this is a music town. So I'm in support of these reforms, and I would love to be a good partner in City Hall for music. So thank you.
Excellent. Shout out to everyone that is participating on Facebook and putting questions in the chat, and also those on Zoom doing the same. Thank you so much. We are documenting, we are pulling those questions in, and look forward to posing some of those questions. So for the question I do have for you, Candace, Portland's private sector is confirmed as relying heavily on our local music scene to attract and retain talent. And for that reason, significant influence on decisions to locate businesses in Portland. How would you engage local businesses to invest in local music that directly benefits them? As a city commissioner, what role would you be willing to play to make that happen?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. And I think I alluded to parts of the answer in my intro when I was talking about how local and private businesses need to do a better job of supporting musicians in the area of fair pay and wages. That's one thing that I heard a lot from people that I've talked to in the music world. And I think that, ultimately leadership is really important in creating the partnerships between these entities. And that's why we're here to talk about how we can be those leaders to build those bridges between these, local business and the music industry. So I think that I read also about agent of change principles, and I think that is something I want to explore a lot more about. What is the, sharing or making sure that these businesses, when they're expanding when we're expanding as a city, that they're taking into account local or music venues, and making sure that they're, I know in the agent of change brief that you gave me, it was about sound mitigation on the entities that they're building, and making sure that they're protecting these venues that have a historic role in the city. And again, I want to echo what I said earlier about the musicians union, Local 99, having more of a role in these conversations as well. So I feel like I could be a commissioner that can bring together these communities, and I would like to do that by being an advocate for music. And like I said, it's been really good to hear perspective from obviously my partner, but then also other musicians that I know in Portland, and how they feel not supported. And I totally hear the frustration when they talk to me about that. So I'm really excited to be included in this and to have this top of mind, because I want to see us have more leadership in City Hall for music.
Thank you so much, Candace.
Thank you.